Good morning. Saint Mother Teresa was once asked, "What has to change?" She paused intently and answered in 3 words, "You and I." My dear brothers and sisters, Lenten season is a grace-filled opportunity for us to change our lives for the better. And this change can be possible if we allow the Word of God to transform us from within. In today's Gospel reading, Jesus responded to the question of the disciples of John with a question: how can the guests of the bridegroom mourn while he is with them? Here, Jesus alluded to his own identity in a subtle way. He is the most awaited bridegroom of Israel. In the Bible, especially or specifically in the New Testament, the bridegroom is often used as a metaphor for God. Such figure reveals God's fidelity to his covenant. It demonstrates God's spousal love to his people, Israel, and to his church. It gives a nuptial tone to salvation. God is faithful to his covenant. There is a cause for rejoicing here. And yet, not everyone rejoiced at the coming of Christ, because as mentioned in Luke chapter 9 verse 44, some did not recognize the time of their visitation from God. This is the reason why all throughout his public ministry, Jesus did not cease to invite those he encountered to change their hearts, to change their lives, that they may recognize the presence of God's kingdom in their midst. At the time of Jesus, the people were very much concerned about fasting in order to comply with a certain religious norm. Little did they know that fasting is simply a means, not an end in itself. How should we understand fasting? Fasting is a deprivation of something in order to achieve a certain goal. Jews, Christians, and Muslims value fasting, usually from food, on certain religious occasions in order to attune one's senses to God. In the secular world, people fast either for health reasons or for psychological reasons, such as recovering one's capacity for self-mastery. But again, fasting is only a means to achieve something. In the preaching ministry of Jesus, he did not abolish fasting, but he wanted the people to realize that fasting and other acts of righteousness are good inasmuch as they concretize our faith in God, inasmuch as they teach us to be merciful. The moment fasting blinds us to the needs of others, making us self-absorbed or selfish individuals, this apparent act of discipline or self-discipline loses its meaning and purpose. Kung ang fasting ug abstinence nga ato gyapon gipadayon gi-assume nato no nga kabahin sa pillars of Lenten season, dili makadala sa kabag-uhan sa atong kinabuhi, dili makausab sa atong mga kinaiya, nan mawa ang iyang bili. There was one woman who religiously practiced fasting by skipping breakfast and dinner, but she never stopped nagging and gossiping, making the lives of the people around her difficult. Such kind of fasting does not lead to conversion or change of heart. As we said, another aspect of fasting is when we deprive ourselves of something in order to attune our senses to God. Now, if the use of the internet is taking much of our time, that we no longer pray and even communicate with the people around us, if eating and drinking become our ultimate craving, forgetting that we need to share our blessings with the poor, if criticizing others becomes our daily bread, then we have enough reasons to fast this season. That is, to give up some habits, attitudes, ways of thinking, and ways of doing for Lent, ultimately for God and for others. The prophet Isaiah in our first reading was straightforward in saying, "Look, on your fast days, you oppress your laborers. Yes, you fast, but end up quarreling, striking each other with wicked blows. Fasting as you do will not make your voice heard on high." Let us turn to Mary, our Mother. Through her intercession, may we learn to allow God to purify our hearts, to bring about a positive change in us. May we understand fasting not as an end, but a means to attune our senses to God and to the needs of the people around us. Let me end this reflection with an exhortation from Pope Francis that would hopefully help us understand better the meaning of fasting. Do you want to fast this Lent? Fast from hurting words and say kind words. Fast from sadness and be filled with gratitude. Fast from anger and be filled with patience. Fast from pessimism and be filled with hope. Fast from worries and have trust in God. Fast from complaints, contemplate simplicity. Fast from pressures and be prayerful. Fast from bitterness, fill your hearts with joy. Fast from selfishness and be compassionate. Fast from grudges and be reconciled. Fast from words, be silent and listen.